If we could just take a real assessment, I would love to hear from you, Quentin, on how Kamala Harris actually is faring with black men, because we have seen a lot of morning newsletters, shall we say, focusing on this subject. We're hearing from the Trump campaign about his efforts to court this group. Obviously, it's not a monolith, but what's your read?
Listen, I think the vice president is out there working to earn the votes of black men like she is any other demographic group. And so I think we got to give her credit for that. But the reality is she's only been campaigning in the real way as a nominee for only 2.5 months now. And so a lot of black men still don't know her yet. They still have a lot of questions. I kind of call it curiosity. And so, you know, I think we got to give black men the space to ask those questions, to seek information. But overall, I think she's doing pretty good in terms of earning the black men's vote.
What are the questions you're hearing them ask? What are the issues that ultimately are the decision makers for whether the vote is earned or lost? The
big issue right now is the economy. You know, they heard a lot around tax cuts for people under Donald Trump. They felt that the economy was better under Donald Trump. But I think what we heard yesterday from President Obama was maybe one of the reasons that is because there was 75 straight months of job growth under the last administration before Donald Trump. So maybe he inherited some of that. Even with the tax cuts, you know, he cut taxes for, billionaires and corporations, not for the average worker. And so a lot of this is kind of correcting the record. And we need time to do that, but also time to explain what the vice president wants to do, how she wants to bring costs down, how she wants to raise wages, how she wants to build wealth. And so I think the Biden-Harris administration has been doing a good job of that. But what does that mean for the future? And that's kind of the question that people are asking right now.
Well, and I wonder, as we consider their questioning and their decision here, do you see this as more of a decision to either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, or a decision whether to vote at all? Is this as much a turnout question? Or is this a turnout question, I guess is the proper way of phrasing it?
Listen, it is both. I mean, what we have seen since, 2012, every 4 years, 1 to 2 point difference in terms of black men supporting the Republican nominee. We know Donald Trump performed better than the previous kind of candidates on the Republican side. And so we got to understand there is a little bit of slippage happening.
Why do you think that is?
I think the Republicans and Donald Trump have done a good job of engaging black men, of going after the black vote. One of my criticisms of the Democrats, and I'm a Democrat and proud of it, is that we haven't spent enough money and done enough work to engage black men on these questions around the economy, on, things beyond policing and criminal justice. Those things are important as well. But how do we actually, again, raise wages, improve work and build wealth for black men? Those are big concerns. And so there have been efforts from the right to, sometimes confuse, but sometimes persuade black men. And so we got to acknowledge that and recognize that and go out there and work hard and earn their vote.
Well, and get them to turn out, to go back to the question I was asking before. How do you galvanize that desire to go to the polls? What ignites that?
Well, listen, what we know is that voters who are invested in are the ones who show up and vote. And so you got to spend money. You got to knock on doors. You got to make those phone calls. But you got to meet them where they are. So we're talking about, barbecues and talking about barbershops. You got to go where black men are convening and have these conversations. We really haven't seen that type of campaign work since 2016. Remember, 2020 was a pandemic. So much of the campaigning was done on TV or on radio or on digital. And those things are important. I'm not saying don't do those, but you got to go out there and kind of have this kind of hand-to-hand kind of conversation with folks and bring them into the process.
What about black women? How is the approach needed there different? How are the support levels you're seeing different? The desire to turn out and vote different?
I think we're going to see a historic number of black women show up to vote because we have a black woman running for president. We saw that the first night she kind of announced, I think it was over 40,000 black women, got on that first Zoom call to raise money for her. And so that energy is going to be exciting to watch. And there's not a lot of work, in my opinion, that has to, kind of go to motivate that vote even more. Obviously, you got to do the work of kind of, your basic kind of campaign work. But I think black women will be there. I think what we haven't really seen is this kind of energy and organizing for black men. And that's what I'm, kind of concerned about going into the last few weeks.
As you raise the historic nature of her candidacy, that she would be not just a woman, but a black woman elected president of the United States, she has frankly not been leading into that at all, one could argue. She is not really making this about her identity. Is that a mistake? Should she be doing more of that?
Well, listen, I think, first of all, we all want the most qualified candidate to be president. I think she is, in our opinion, in my opinion, the most qualified candidate. And so that's important to kind of, lean on who you are, lean on your accomplishments and your resume. But yes, for a lot of black voters, it does matter who she is, her background. That is going to be a motivating factor, but it's not the most important. Again, these questions on the economy, how she's going to improve, the issues around inflation right now, those things are of what's most concerning for voters. But it's exciting to have the opportunity to kind of break that glass ceiling of putting a black woman in the White House. It will be historic.
And if that happens, knowing your wider effort here is just to get more black representation into all levels of public office, what do you think that would unlock? Knowing we already, of course, have seen the historic presidency of Barack Obama, that is one glass ceiling, I guess you could consider shattered. But would this mean something else?
It does. We have a saying at the Collective PAC that if you want to change the laws, you must change the lawmakers. And so having, again, the first woman, having a black woman in the White House, a graduate of a HBCU, that stuff really matters in terms of thinking about who is prioritized in policy conversations. The federal government has to really be there for all Americans. And one could argue that it hasn't been there for many different groups of Americans historically. And so I think she could, and she will, hopefully when she wins, be a historic candidate and president to, bring the people forward. Her kind of campaign slogan was Kamala Harris for the people. And so that will be amazing. But it also, I think, shows people that you could, run for president one day. Little black girls, little, boys as well. But anybody can kind of, achieve these historic accomplishments by seeking the highest office in the land. I think it's incredible.